Hey, long time no see, ladies and gents. Welcome back to some more videos. Today I want to talk about 10 characters that I want to be in Granblue Fantasy Versus. Now, before I get into that, I actually want to mention that I'm not going to be including characters that are already kind of semi-confirmed, like, you know, the weapons are in the logo, such as Zeta, Vasaraga, Percival. Those characters, I'm not going to be mentioning those, because I'm assuming that they'll be coming in one way or another. Now I want to talk about 10 characters that I have personally talked about with friends, when I talked about with viewers, about characters that I think I would like, and I've been looking at them, looking up their lore. I even have some of them in my actual mobile game, and I want to actually do a video on the characters that I want to be in Granblue Fantasy Versus. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first character is a character that I actually watched during my time with the animation of Granblue Fantasy, and it wasn't the greatest, you know, in terms of story or anything, but it was a good way for me to get into the world and kind of introduce myself to these characters. And within that show, there was a character that caught my attention, and I wanted to see her in a fighting game format no matter what. And that character is UL. UL is a character that most definitely, I think would be such a fun character to play. She's like a Firefox type of girl, but you know, not the web browser, but she is from the Irun race, which is similar to what Fairy is and what Lowain is. So she is a character with two swords, and she controls fire, and she can also control water, depending on which servant or character, I should say, my Fate Go turrets are acting up. I think this character would be badass to see in a fighting game format, seeing that she has two katanas. She can definitely do the whole dual wield thing, and you know how I like characters that can be real agile, real mobile, and real like very offensive, and I think this character could be that character. Not to mention Fox waifus are always freaking awesome. The next character is also another character that I really liked from the animation. As soon as I saw him, I said that would be a really fun character to play. Plus, I kind of like the personalities of these type of characters. This archetype is always an archetype that I actually enjoy watching and I enjoy playing, and that is Sores. Sores is a character that is mostly a brawler type. He's a human that just resembles JoJo to a crazy degree in terms of fighting style, because he's got a rapid punch, Gomu Gomu no, you know, freaking super rapid punches, or you got Oda Oda Oda, you know, that type of stuff. And I think that character would be incredibly fun to play in Granblue Fantasy Versus. Having a fisticuffs character, a brawler character, would be pretty freaking fun. So I think he'd be a real fun character to actually have in Granblue Fantasy Versus, seeing as how his gameplay would be a very offensive rushdown brawler type character with some crazy moves like maybe punching the air, and then that can be a projectile. That would be kind of crazy, but I can see it happening. And I think Sores would be a great fit for Granblue Fantasy Versus. To piggyback off of that, we have another character that's very similar to Sores actually, and that's Gandagoza. And now Gandagoza has been a character that I've been talking about with my friends. They brought him up, and I think this character would be an awesome character for Granblue Fantasy Versus, mostly because he reminds me a lot of two characters blended into one. And it's a Kuma and a Goron, let's say Darunia, or maybe even some of the other Gorons from Zelda, essentially. He's got that goofy look to his face, that smile, but also has that intimidating look whenever he goes into battle stance. He's a very brawler, fisticuffs heavy character with some crazy unique attributes from what I hear, just because he's got that Akuma look to him, and he can have some fireballs, air fireballs, grounded fireballs. He can, you know, kind of go for not just a fisticuffs brawler character, but have like that unique Shoto attribute like Akuma did in the Street Fighter series. I think he'd be a really fun character. Plus, you know, we have to have like the interactions between him and Sores, because I hear they both have pretty cool interactions in the Mobage, so that would be a really fun little interaction to have between the two of them, because I think Sores is very much like oh, I'm a man, you're a man, let's fight and see who's the best type of personality, and Gandagoza is always looking for a challenge. So I think that would be a really fun character. Both those characters would be very fun to have. The next character, I gotta say that this is a character that I didn't even know about, but because of word of mouth and because people love this character oh so much, this is definitely one of the most popular characters to ever grace Granblue Fantasy, in my opinion, just because, man, I didn't know anything about her. I was, you know, starting to get into Granblue Fantasy, but the one character, I hear about a lot of characters that come out and that people want me to take a look at. There's one character in particular, this is two, by the way, no, one character in particular that seriously people tell me about, and she's so popular that I had to take a look and see what this character looks like and who she is. That character is Zoe. Zoe is a character that people absolutely just fawn over because she's got that cute girl, tan girl aesthetic to her, of course, but she also has some dragons, freaking dragons, wyverns, and dragon waifu. People love that stuff. And to be completely fair, she absolutely looks super badass in her armor with, of course, just a flock of dragons all around her and such. And in terms of her lore and her placement in the story, I really don't understand what she does, but from what I know from my friends and from viewers is that she's what's called an arbitrator. And it kind of relates to a role in the Fate universe, if you guys are familiar with Fate lore, of a counterforce. Basically somebody that tries to resolve the conflict. And that's that. Nonetheless, she's got a sword, she's got a shield, she looks absolutely badass with her armor and such, and a flock of dragons. Like I said, dragon waifus are something that people die over. They're so freaking cool, they're badass and such, just because anything with a dragon is all automatically badass. This is 100% a character that people would die over if they all of a sudden saw her in Granblue Fantasy Versus, especially doing some really cool dragon things. I don't know, having some pretty cool, like, calling out some dragons, having some assist and such would be really freaking awesome. Zoe would be a perfect fit for Granblue Fantasy Versus. And this time you don't even have to roll for her. You can just get her automatically. You might have to pay her in DLC though. Oh well. Now let's keep going down the list. So the next character that I'm going to be talking about is a character that really reminds me of a character from BlazBlue and draws very huge similarities to them. And I really want to see this character in Granblue Fantasy Versus as soon as possible, because I think she would be a fantastic pick. Even for the people that don't play Granblue Fantasy, people would automatically go to her, and that's Megisa. Megisa is a witch, and she reminds me a lot of Nine the Phantom, mostly because, of course, she's a witch, she's got a hat, she's got that dress, she's got that demeanor of, yes, I'm a badass, and I know how to do magic, and I'm going to beat you down. She also has a ginormous pet called Mumu, and Mumu is one of my favorite things about this character, mostly because she basically goes around and she can summon this thing whenever she wants to, whenever she's in a pinch, which I really think would be a fun mechanic to be able to implement into Granblue Fantasy Versus in that character. She could be a puppet type character, but not really. Who knows, maybe similar to possibly Shadow Labris from Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, or Arena, I should say. And I think this would be a perfect character. And I really like the Fate episode that they gave her in Granblue Fantasy, which is basically like her lore and what her, you know, what she kind of stands for. She's a good girl. She's a good girl, and I love Mumu with all my heart too. I really hope that this character makes it into Granblue Fantasy Versus. She would be incredibly fun, and having her have interactions with the other characters while having Mumu in the back would be freaking fun as hell. The next character is, I think, a badass, and I really hope this character makes it in because I think he's a pretty popular character as well, and I would love to see this iteration of this archetype in Granblue Fantasy Versus. And this character, the name is everywhere in all sorts of universes, and that's Siegfried. And I'm not talking about regular Siegfried. I want Dragon Slayer Siegfried. Now, Siegfried is a historical character where, of course, it's from, I think, mythology and all sorts of mythology, where he slays a dragon called Fafnir, and, you know, he gains the very popular name of, you know, the Dragon Slayer, essentially. In Granblue Fantasy, this character is absolutely just badass looking, with the dark armor, with the ginormous sword, and the really cool skills that he gets from slaying Fafnir. He straight up looks like a Monster Hunter character, and I really enjoy that and get a kick out of that. And a lot of people, and I'm talking a lot of people, really like Siegfried. I think Siegfried would be absolutely badass, just to see his animations, to see his intros, to see his outros, and his interactions with that badass look that he has. He's just badass. I can't describe it. You just have to look at the character and be like, yep, that character's badass. I'd play him in a heartbeat. The next one's going to be a character that I really want to see in Granblue Fantasy Versus, but I'd be interested to see what they would do if they were to put her in. And that's Tanya. Tanya is a ninja type character with an eye patch, short-haired waifu. I mean, the character looks badass and also really looks pretty nice. I think some kunai gameplay would be incredibly fun for this character. She reminds me a little bit of Ibuki, like maybe from Street Fighter V or Street Fighter 4, having some kunai gameplay and having some really fast, agile movements. She can be similar to Seth as well, where she can, you know, have dual wield 2 kunais, but also throwing them. So having projectiles, having some kunais and such would be really cool, and having some really cool dashes, possibly similar to Lancelot. I think the character would be incredibly cool to play. She's a very fast, agile character, and I really want to see this character in Granblue Fantasy Versus. White short-haired waifus are always a thumbs up for me. Do you guys remember how I mentioned that Zoe was an incredibly popular character, and through word of mouth, I actually got word of this character. I looked at her and I said, that's a cool character. Well, feast your eyes on the next one that I did not know through word of mouth, but I instantly knew that this was a popular character the minute that I saw her. And that is a character that I saw through the animation. And this character is Narmaya. Now, Narmaya is, how can I explain this? Waifu. Wow, that was easier than I thought. She's an incredibly badass character that is from the draft race. She has purple hair, she has a katana, and she's a very horny character. Let me redo that. She's from the draft race, she has a katana, she has purple hair, and she has horns. There we go. Not to mention, as soon as I saw her in the animation for like 10 seconds, immediately I said, that's a character I want to play as in Granblue Fantasy Versus. Just because she has a katana, so instantly I'm thinking Yuzu type gameplay where she has a stance, she has different slashes she can sheath, and she can take out the sword whenever she wants in a very fast manner. And I really like those type of characters. Those are insta mains to me, at least. You guys know how I love my katana waifus. So this is definitely a character that I would love to see. The gameplay would be incredibly fun. Like always, maybe she can have some really far range while at the same time having some really far zoning, mid zoning, slashes similar to Yuzu. That's just a hope, but who knows what can happen. She could probably have a teleport where she can like turn into butterflies, and I love butterflies. Butterflies are beautiful, especially the purple ones. Nonetheless, people love this character, including myself. People would go absolutely wild if they see this character in video game formats, and especially as beautiful looking as Granblue Fantasy Versus. So Narmaya is 100% a character that I would absolutely love in Granblue Fantasy Versus. Next up, we got another character that I'd be really happy if he got into Granblue Fantasy Versus, mostly because this archetype of character is one of my personal favorites. And it's a very similar, archetype to Percival, but I think the type of swordsman that he would be incredibly fun to play in the game. And that is Albert. Albert's another very popular character within, Granblue Fantasy enthusiasts, just because he is a very pretty boy that controls lightning. And having the really cool lightning effects, if it's done correctly, could be incredibly cool in the game. Now, there's already a character that's very similar to this, would be, similar to Kai, who also controls lightning. He can, ride the lightning. He can do like crazy projectiles with lightning as well. But I'd want something that would be completely different, with cool animation, different cool animations than Kai. And I really hope that they would do something really awesome with the lightning effects, maybe surging through his body would be really fun. Also his sword as well, really cool animations, really cool intros. Albert would be a for sure pick for me if he ever got into the game, if Vasaraga never did. But we all know that he very much might. Vasaraga might be in there, and Vasaraga is my #1 pick for like the male character that I really would like to play. But Albert is 100% like #2 for me, at least, because I think that character would be badass. And then after that would be Siegfried, I think. Nonetheless, Albert is a very popular character who people would go absolutely wild over. So Albert is definitely up there. Now, if I were to say who my all-time favorite Granblue Fantasy character is, you guys would probably guess it. I've been talking about her all the time. I absolutely love her. And I think you guys all know who that is. I'll give you a hint though. You can pronounce it in 2 syllables. You guys know who that is, right? It's Io. Yeah, what can I say? I love lollies. What the hell? Turn out the lights. What the? Who are you? What? Wait, no, stop. Let me be on. Jesus. You go for 1 second to get a bottle of water, and all of a sudden a clone shows up to take your place, huh? Anyways, where were we? Ah, yes! My favorite character in Granblue Fantasy that I would love to have in Granblue Fantasy Versus. And that is Ilsa. Ilsa is a character that reminds me a lot of my BlazBlue waifu, which is Noelle, of course. But this is a very different spin on the Noelle archetype. She has, you know, the guns. She has the gun gameplay. Of course, she's a sergeant or captain. I think she's a captain, actually. But her demeanor, her attitude, and her personality are completely different. She has that drill sergeant attitude to her. She can be very hard, very demonic at times as well. Very hard on the crew and very hard on others, just for the sake of them improving and getting better. But at the same time, you know, you got that all that skin out on the outside, that hard shell on the outside, but when you peel it back, you have the very cute and adorable archetype. I absolutely love that archetype. That's one of my favorite things about specific characters, when they have that really badass side to them, but at the same time also having that human, very relatable, very attractive side to them as well. And then when you have that alongside some really cool gameplay that includes guns, and I really love like the double gun gameplay, of course. That's why I love Noelle so much. I just can't, like, I can't see myself playing any other character. This is one of those characters that's very unlikely to get into this game. However, if they ever do, I will probably faint and never wake up again. What I'm saying is Ilsa would be my absolute favorite pick to be in Granblue Fantasy Versus, and I already explained why. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. That's going to be it for me today. It's a very different type of video for sure, but it's a video that I've always wanted to do. Maybe I'll do it this way, or maybe I'll do it another way next time, but nonetheless, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like the video if you guys did. If you guys want to see more videos like this, like it, please, please. Subscribe to the channel for more Granblue Fantasy Versus gameplay. Follow me on Twitter if you guys want to know anything about me or the channel. Anyways, take it easy, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.